Did you just type this into ChatGPT? If this isn't fun, you shouldn't be doing it. What are we talking about? We're talking about, you know what? Q1 awards so far. My made up award system, the best, the biggest, the downest of everything in Q1. Again, transparency being the key. I feel like otherwise, when we get to the end of the year, people are holding these cards so close to their vest, you're like, ooh, I wonder what it's gonna be. No, we should be transparent about this bull crap that we put out on the internet of these top 10 lists, these previews, these reviews. There shouldn't be any wondering with any discrepancy, bar, you know, just haven't had a chance to freaking talk about it because I don't do this full time sort of thing, on where your head is at with a lot of these games. Because if you're like me and you watch stuff, you hear these ratings at the end of videos and you go, yeah, but how do you really feel about it? Are you actually just saying this to give it a rating to get clicks? Are you saying this because you truly believe in it? Are you saying this because you're going to keep it in your collection? Or is this just one of those things where you like the idea of it, but the actuality of it, what you're freaking going to play when the camera isn't running, is what you're really truly interested in? And so I think that this video is helpful in that regard, of a little bit of snarkiness thrown in along the way, because you got to have fun with it too. If this isn't fun, you shouldn't be doing it. Woohoo, phrasing, let's go. Now, full disclaimer, not all these games are going to be 2025 games. Some of them are carryovers. Some of them are, we got them too late in 2024 to actually talk about in 2024. Because that's also the way our hop cycle goes. And you know what? Just an overload plethora of games in the first place. In no particular order, we're going straight through my award system, just like we did with that video. I had fun making that video. I'm having fun making this one. Let's freaking go. Best new cooperative game. Boom shakalaka. If you saw my review, you didn't, but it's Eternal Decks right now. A card-driven, restricted, play them in a lane, unlock more decks so you don't run out of cards to play them in the first place style of things, with colors and numbers that can't match but have to match in certain ways, and grabbing new decks of better cards in order to create more restrictions on yourself in a scenario-driven basis that has infinite replayability. Not, but you know what? More than you're ever going to need if that's your biggest concern with this one. Hands down, best cooperative game so far of 2024. Runner up right now, Fellowship of the Ring trick taking. And so again, that's a high bar because I think a hell of a lot of that game too. Best returning game. Boom. If you know me, you know me. Like I say, got plenty of types, and this is one of them. Not blondes, brunettes, or redheads, but Marvel United. Marvel United Multiverse is kicking it, and it's rocking it, and it rocks out over Dice Throne right now. Have I played all of it? No. Do I know where I stand on all of it? No. Am I going to keep all the expansions? No. Do I freaking love it? Yes. Psych. Gotcha. But that's the big conundrum. How many of these am I going to keep? Are all of the extras that I got as an all-in person really necessary? No, I'm not as big a fan of the items as I thought I was going to be. I might just house rule and say screw it and use them anyway to have a great kick-all-butt time. And similarly with the campaign decks, I'm not really sure how I feel about those. Again, I feel like that pets jumping the shark, making it too easy, changing the difficulty. I don't know. You know what? Screw it. I don't really care about the difficulty. It's about the incorporation of me getting to play this game with my kids on a regular basis and kicking some butt using cool superhero stuff. I still make the argument that the enemies are the best part whatsoever, hands down over everything else. And the heroes still, you know, lack some asymmetry and rather enough variance in between all of them, given the plethora of them in the first place, because you didn't run into it with the bad guys, but you're running into it with the good guys. That's a whole nother issue. But that has to be at the top of the list. Best worker placement game. I'm actually going to talk about this in a different video shortly before or after this. Creature Caravan from Red Raven Games. Because I think this tableau building with a dice worker placement situation is clever. It's unique. It keeps me engaged with the center area, even though that's my main criticism. But the tableau that you're managing and just action optimizing didn't feel old, didn't feel too constrained, didn't feel too easy. And that's a tough balance to make in that regard. And so I give them a lot of freaking kudos, and I think that's awesome. Best miniature crawl game I've played so far this year. Aeon Trespass Odyssey Cycles 4 and 5. It's kind of like the chant from Monty Python and the Holy Grail right there. But again, like they've knocked it out of the park with this thing. I give Into the Unknown huge kudos. I can't wait to see Enormity. Although, again, hopefully we'll get Kingdoms Forlorn well before Enormity. I love Aeon Trespass Odyssey. I've been trying to sell my Kingdom Death Monster because this has utterly and overachievingly replaced that for me in every single dynamic aspect of things. It's still incredibly difficult to get to the table. It is a table hog. It is over deluxified, and there's just too much stuff. And that's my biggest criticism. Take that for what you will. Best expansion. Yeah, okay. Veil of Eternity. We went with Veil of Eternity at the end of 2024, but I'm going to stick with it. That's the best expansion I've played. Although, you know what? If we get off that train, I actually have Bloodlines right down here, Dune Imperium, and I'd say that's probably the best expansion that I've played because it makes Dune Imperium Uprising for me a little bit better in all those regards in terms of the leaders, commanders, and just the deck building as a whole, giving me just a better mechanical approach and leaving me only with the question of whether or not I'm going to keep Dune in the previous two expansions, keep Bloodlines, or wait for inevitably the Dune Imperium dual game to come out in the future. Boom! And then we're going with best two-player only game. Best two-player only game. I'm going to have to go right now with the carryover is Compile Main. I never got Compile Main in 2024. It was constantly sold out. So when it finally became available, I picked it up and I bought the expansion to go with it. Now with Compile Main 2 coming out, is it going to probably, you know, change my opinion on things? Probably not. I'll probably pick it up as a completionist standpoint, but I like it. The rules still bug me a lot in terms of dealing with some of those minutia and figuring out the combo creation things that haven't been addressed in the rules in the first place. But that's why Board Game Geek is full of the rules forums as well, addressing those. I guess I really don't have a whole lot to complain about in the same regard. Best multiplayer card game. Now, this is tricky, right? This is tricky. You know, easily the best for me personally speaking is Lord of the Rings, trick-taking, Fellowship of the Ring. But, as much as I love this game, as much as I love trick-taking, as much as I love the dynamics that this brings to the genre and the sort of it factor that it has as a whole to entice people who aren't trick-taking, who aren't card game, who aren't hobbyists in the first place, you know, I also have to be completely honest and completely transparent. The most that I've played of anything is a game called Trio, where you have 1 through 12, you have 3 of each number, and you have to get that set of 3 in order to win. You have to get 3 of them, you have to get 2 of them, or you have to get 1 of them in different combinations or numbers in order to do so. My kids absolutely freaking love this game. We don't play less than about 3 games in a row every time we play it. It, compared to Flip 7, are going to be, as subsequently as the next award, we might as well skip to that, those are going to be the 2 highest played games of the year. We are nearly at 30 ready for Trio, and we are probably at 10 already for Flip 7. And Flip 7 was an acquisition at the beginning of April. That's how massive it is. Apart from those light card style games, it's going to have to go back to Marvel United Multiverse as the next closest thing, which may be the biggest non-card game played as a whole for the whole year. Best growing on me game. Well, again, this is sort of, you know, I'm kind of going back and forth with this one. I have one sitting right next to me and I have one sitting behind the camera. The one I did the review of prior to filming this is Scales of Fate from Ivy Studios. And then I kind of go back and forth on that one because I feel like I just wanted more out of the deduction. I wanted more out of the dynamics. I wanted more out of the elements. It's a great, solid game. I really like it, but I'm not sure if I'm in love with it yet. The other one sitting right next to me from one of my favorite publishers now with Mindbug and Agent Avenue is the upcoming, at the end of the month, Final Titan, sort of King of Tokyo meets only head-of-head duels. Now, if you took like a King of Tokyo duel and actually made it good, oh, he went there, then this is kind of what it would look like. I worry about the upgrade cards, I worry about the dynamics, I worry about the differences that I was just talking about with Marvel United, but I think ironing a few of those things out from a really top-down perspective, post-campaign, even since I last played it with some of the rules updates they've sent me, I feel a little bit better about it, and it's growing on me more and more, similarly to how Mindbug did in that way. So I have to feel overarchingly positive about both of those, and I kind of want to see the opposite for Scales of Fate, the Pillars of Fate, which I didn't have a hands on as well. That one I feel like could be even better than Scales of Fate, given the dynamics of the lane battling that I love, that we talked about with Compile Main 2 already. The biggest WTF on the internets in Q1 in these games. 1, retail. Vantage. I still stand by that, Stonemeyer. I still don't know what to make of this, especially when you're showing me that it was going to be a 2026 game in 2024. You released 2 videos, one non-spoilery, which got people pissed off, which thankfully you pivoted, you turned about, and you said, okay, I'll give a spoiler video as well that people wanted, and now people like it. I have no freaking clue what to make of this game whatsoever. I think people are still enamored with the idea of a multiplayer game in the setting of like Seventh Continent, Seventh Citadel that plays well with multiple people and has the dynamic that they want to be able to engage around the table, I don't know if it's actually possible. I don't know. I don't think it's going to ever be that experience that you're looking for. And I think people are still searching for that holy grail in that sense. And so is this going to provide it? Well, you'll have to wait about a year to find out. Then the other biggest WTF, I'm sorry, Awakened Realms, but Agricola, the 2 edition special. One of these campaigns, again, similar to Vantage, I'm going to stay a little bit less hypocritical in this sense. You're not even going to launch the campaign until 2026. I'm sorry. I don't like this utter BS of super early hype cycle, right? Stonemaier and Awakened Realms do it respectively, probably the best on the retail and crowdfunding side of things overall. No doubt, right? At the same time, I don't like this. And this is, again, doing a Castles of Burgundy sort of Puerto Rico thing where some of the stuff is good, but overwhelmingly, some of the stuff is just completely unnecessary. And it's making people feel like their copies of things are obsolete and it just, not good enough. And so part of me doesn't like that. And part of me goes, did you just type this into ChatGPT and go, what can we do to make farming more interesting? Oh? Make it a zombie side edition? Yeah, I'm tongue in cheek. I think if you can do something super, super clever mechanically, I don't want to see, artistically. I know what you can do artistically. Artistically, you are fantastic. That's a little disclaimer with the AI if we kick that out of the discussion. But, they have been before all that too. And so give me something completely topsy-turvy on your head, mechanically speaking, and I will be interested as someone who has never, ever, ever been interested in this game beforehand in any iteration, sense, or form of it. And so that's why it's still the biggest WTF. The best ideal setting game, meaning the best game for the absolute utter right group. Arcs is still that. You have to have the group. It's also made me wonder whether or not I can persuade people to get back into Oath, as I've been looking at late backing it in that regard. So I don't know, right? I go back and forth. At least I'm a little bit more sure of the Oath rather than the Root expansion, but that's a whole nother issue that I'm having internally debating right now. Biggest I have to have the group game part 2 though is an upcoming crowdfunding game from Studio Midhall called Hollow Pact. I got a chance to play it. I have a copy that really requires 3 people as a very interesting twist on the semi-cooperative beast style nature of moving your character along a pseudo, path grid-like situation, unlocking resource management, clever card play that takes a different spin than I was initially expecting. And so if you like those dynamics and you want to see semi-cooperative that can be done right, this one, if that's always intrigued you, might be a heavy worth see if either of those things are overlapping of your Venn diagram of interests. The biggest overachiever, I've been pretty blunt and frank about this one. Companion Quest from Ghostfire Gaming and Fame and Fable, as both indie games that came out of nowhere, exceeded my expectations, combo-driven excellence in Companion Quest with a little bit of a dice worker placement vibe, with a difficulty that will surprise you, with a family weight style intro. I understand this, but more of a regular gaming group style. You're going to have to be that good to achieve what you're going for. Awesomeness. And then also with Fame and Fable, I was not expecting this to be this good, right? I said, I hope that this is going to be, this was one of those, as I said in the other video, where I just reached out to the designer after I saw the artwork. I think it looked really cool. I thought the concept was neat. And then I played it and I was actually thinking it overachieved in every regard of how this combo system of the gameplay driven, knock out your own monsters in a slightly Marvel Champions, allocate them to you side of things, success rate with grabbing your market cards and balancing those dynamics of resources. It absolutely just surprised me in the best way possible. And like I said in the other video, this is why we crowdfund. Kids' favorite, it's Trio right now. Hands down. Trio, although, again, Flip 7 is coming on hot, and so we'll see what this looks like in the end of the year. It's overtaken Marvel United and Marvel Dice Throne right now, truth be told. Biggest, I don't know how I feel yet. Like I said, Scales of Fate. I looped that into the other one, so we'll leave that there. Best Euro, I know I sort of said worker placement earlier for Creature Caravan, so we'll split hairs here, and we'll do it anyway because it's my categories, and I'm choosing arbitrarily why these are different because they're not actually any different, but I included it on the list regardless. And that's Everdell Silver Frost, I really like that. That makes me never want to buy an Everdell with an expansion, right? Like that's an incorporation of a 2.0 that replaces the original for me, and that makes you think, okay, why would I ever want to try and incorporate and box store and have all of these different things? Because it gives you everything an expansion does included in the base game, that you go, I don't know that I would ever really feel like this is something I would want to play without. So I really enjoyed that more so than I thought, again, originally, as someone who has, truth be told, not a huge fan of Everdell to begin with. Then I can't get this out of my head game, going back to the best cooperative game, Eternal Decks. That is the one that has stuck with me the most post playing, the one that brings the most fun, dynamic, and different experience that fits in the cooperative niche of all the cooperative games that I have in the first place, that doesn't overlap or outstay its welcome or make me feel like it makes some other game redundant in a very, very positive way. The why did I get this award? The why did I get this award? Last year it was Andromeda's Edge, and I'm going to go a different direction with this one. It's actually going to be Marvel Dice Throne. Not because I have anything wrong with Marvel Dice Throne. It very well could be on my top 10 games of the year at the end of the year. The X-Men version, if you will, plus or minus missions. But it's the, why did I pay an extra whole hell of a lot of money to get this slightly better organization kit? I don't know. I don't know. I'm not really enamored with it. I think it's fine. It's nice. But for the cost increase and the quality of life aspect that it brings, I don't think that those two are equal in my head. So I kind of regret spending the extra money in that regard. And that's probably the biggest one, which honestly, at this point, if that's your biggest one as a whole, that's really freaking probably pretty good. And so I really shouldn't be complaining from that regard. The biggest crowdfunding letdown right now. You know what? This is going to be splitting hairs again, just like previous, but I'm going to go a different direction that you may be thinking. It's actually Massive Darkness 2 Dungeons of Shadowreach. Not because it was a bad campaign, but because, you know, again, I look at this and I go, this had such a huge success on Kickstarter previously. Get $1 million less than you raised on Kickstarter the first time around with, again, a better iteration. It makes me go, why? Why? Is it saturation? Is it oversaturation? Is it just people are sick of this? Is it the people that got it are already full of it and it's not as many new backers looking at it? Is it a zombie side attrition? Where is it really falling in that regard? Why didn't it do as well? I'm not going to make the argument that it was a bad campaign. I'm not going to make the argument that it was a failure in any way, but like I look at this and I go, this should have been more. It should have gotten more. It was hyped more. Everyone loves this more than almost any of the other Seagon games that aren't like Marvel United or Cthulhu Death May Die that have come out in the last 5 years. And again, that doesn't always translate to funding, which is always an interesting aspect of things I'd love to look at, because I also say this when I do the $1 million roundups and I tier rank them end of last year, beginning of this year. Money does not equal might. Might does not equal right. And that's the most interesting aspect of things, because I've seen this go several different campaigns as well, where you've got this massive amount of hype swell and it never translates into anything dollars wise. And I'm not going to read into that too much, though, any further and not get myself in trouble. Biggest letdown expansion? It's the Faraway expansion, right? No one needs a Faraway expansion that adds a few cards and is more focused on adding a 7th player to be able to play this game with as a whole. It really reminds me of Cascadia Landmarks, where Cascadia Landmarks, again, bundled the player stuff and the gameplay stuff. And I hate that, because realistically, it should be 2 separate expansions. Realistically, if you wanted to make this more of 7 players, great. If you want to just give me more freaking awesome gameplay, make it more like Veil of Eternity, right? And you didn't do either, and I don't really like that, even though it was super cheap. Cheap is not the point. The best upcoming retail games for me right now. I mean, this is a two-way tie right now. Two-way tie between Sanctuary, the upcoming family-style hex-based Ark Nova situation, and then Pandemic Lord of the Rings, right? The Fate of the Fellowship. Both of those are super intriguing for completely different reasons. Fate of the Fellowship is number 1 overall because I freaking love Pandemic. It's cooperative. I love it. 2, you're giving me more accessible Ark Nova. You're going to put Ark Nova on the hype and hotness cycle again, right? You can get the 3D edition, right? That should really be up your alley and really up your, you can spend probably $200 and $300 on that thing. So it brings it back to your attention. You forgot it though, because it was best game of the year about 3 years ago, and we get a new best game of the year every year on the year, and depending on, you know, what month it is as a whole. And then the best upcoming crowdfunding games, you know, I'm gonna go 1, 2, and 3 because this is too hard, just like the best upcoming retail games. And so right now, the number 1 game for me, personally speaking, close, it actually isn't anywhere close probably to crowdfunding, Wardens from Level 99 Games. It's a skirmish upcoming game, right? Like that is an absolute wonderific example of what I am most interested in, and going back to earlier, one of my types. 2, Flamecraft duels. I love 2-player games. I think this looks like something tremendous. I think it looks more like a Splendor duel than it does even with the Azul duels and the Everdell duels, which I was both a fan of, even though I still give the edge to Azul. This one looks better than all of them, maybe not Splendor and maybe not Seven Wonders Lord of the Rings. And then the third one, I'm going to give Awakened Realms a little bit of shout out here. I think Below Asylum could be something really special. Give me less narrative, give me a unique spin on the mechanics, don't make it too complicated, make it more Cthulhu Death May Die, right? Like I'm constantly boggled that they have not gone that route, and every of these games has to be like 30 to 50 pages for a rulebook standpoint. Less is more. Less is more. Less is more. Show me what you can do from that regard. I am chomping at the bit to throw money at your company. And I just haven't been as enticed as I would like to be, because again, sometimes you get that itchy trigger finger on the F5 and the pledge button, and I just haven't been able to itch it. And last up, the campaign that I have been the happiest with on crowdfunding so far this year, overarchingly without any doubt, was actually Onward from Skytier Games. I think that they overachieved in what they were going for, because MOBA is not a huge market. I mean, even with the huge success of something like Guards of Atlantis 2 and the overall acclaim for it, not a lot of people go for it. Not a lot of people are working for that. And also the player count really limited that one dynamically. And now you're going with a 2-player game of this, and I can get it in standees or miniatures. Oh, I should get the standees because it's cheaper, because everyone's always clamoring for a cheaper, less overproduced game, especially with all the tier ups. Oh, no one does it. Oh, I did it. So again, I also have to give major props and kudos every time this happens, because you know what? You basically went to crowdfunding with a complete product and you said, I'm going to print it and you're going to have it by the end of the year. And that is freaking awesome. Leisure Games, peace out. Stay classy. Have a great day.